Yo, hello everyone, I'm Zino.
I'm Dino, and this is the
I'm Rino.
Primo Bro Show.
Rino. I haven't heard that name in too long.
Yeah, it's a new name.
You've
You've never heard it.
That's fair.
I've
So
taken this name for myself.
Reno. It's been too long. How did you find us?
You sent me the link to the episode, and then I watched it, and then I was like, oh, I want to be on there.
what are you talking about? You invited me.
Zeno, he's figured this out. We gotta get out of here.
we gotta get out of here.
We gotta get out of here.
I have a deep sea submersible. All right, just like in the episode.
Okay, good.
We're gonna talk
It's
about
relevant.
Okay, well, hey, Zeno, get into it.
Oh, of course. Well, on today's episode of Russell Jimmy's, our lovely guest host Reno will be joining us as we
Hey,
talk
everyone.
about the dual episode I Dream of Jimmy and the second part Raise the Oozy Scab.
Yeah.
And our first episode, I Dream of Jimmy, aka Vai im Traum, which probably means something along the lines of my trauma.
Yeah, probably.
So like you sent me the link to watch these,
Yeah.
and I forgot about the German thing. So I saw the title and was like, I'm having a stroke. What is
Yeah.
this?
No, it's like in the DVDs we ordered.
The
every
DVDs that I sent you legally.
every
Yes.
everything is in English except for literally just the titles. Like everything.
Which is yeah. It's just
Like
bizarre.
nothing else was localized. Like why even go through the bother of like remaking the logo of the title card?
Yeah.
It doesn't
it's-
make any sense.
I guess Germans really like the English version better. It's obviously a superior dub, but for some
You
reason,
save
yeah.
money on localization and stuff too. You know?
yeah.
Und Shin Estevez is my favorite character. Opa.
Yeah, brain blasting.
I
Anyway,
do kind of wish that there was a German dub.
I know. I want to hear all these
Just
characters.
because
speak
I want them
German.
to break me off a piece of that. I want to hear what this sounds
I
like.
want to hear Hugh say pie in German.
Yeah, just in pie.
Yeah.
Or just in German.
Yeah. Okay, Zeno, give us a rundown of this episode's summary. I Dream of Jimmy.
Carl, I have a few more experiments you're gonna have to be wide awake for, so eat the rest of... Carl? You obviously need more food.
Well, the episode is all about Jimmy being so frustrated with Carl and his frickin' narcolepsy that he decides to find a solution for it. And failing to provide him the solution of giving him food, finds that he has a deep-seated fear of something in his nightmares and it's preventing him from sleeping well. So instead of deciding to, send him to therapy, he decides to go into his brain himself and figure out what's happening in the dream world.
That's a perfect summary because first of all, Jimmy,
Alright.
he killed Carl. Like he fell from like what how many feet up in the air and just no shoot, nothing, has barely even a helmet on him, and then
he is in what looks like a hollowed out cannonball. Like
Nah, he's fine. He had a helmet on.
wait,
but it's like
yeah.
an old timey helmet. It's not even like a bike helmet.
It's like it's like a rugby helmet where it's just leather.
Yeah.
It's just leather on top of his head.
I thought it was like an ancient like World War I helmet, and it just makes me want to see Carl like in the trenches with a freaking rifle, and just like
that is the first bullet point in my note. Is Jimmy complains about the quality of his free volunteers?
wait,
It's like unpaid labor.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Well, I guess we find out later that Carl really actually hates Jimmy. There's plenty of evidence in his subconscious in his dreams.
Oh yeah, and that is also in my notes. Just that Carl hates Jimmy because of his constant use of him as a guinea pig.
Yeah.
No, I think it's jealousy. I think everything that he's dreaming about is seeded from jealousy, not from malice.
Okay. Okay. You really think it's not malice? You really
Maybe a
think
little
that?
bit, but that stems from jealousy. Everything he does is not I hate Jimmy and I wish he would suffer. It's more, man, I wish I was Jimmy.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. I wish I had his
Envy,
parents. I
yeah,
wish
envy.
I had his smarts. I wish I could calculate the square root of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
I
what were you
did-
saying, Reno?
I have another thing, completely off topic. I thought this was very interesting. So Sheen mentions at the beginning of this episode that he was having a conversation with his little sister.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does this ever come up again?
I know.
Like, is she a character in the show? Do we ever see her? Because I don't remember this at all.
I don't know.
I have a simple solution. Sheen, his father is divorced and he only gets to see the sister on the weekends. And this show is only filmed on weekdays.
Oh, of course, of course. The reality TV show of Jimmy Neutron, of course. But
Yes,
we
totally
know
real.
we know that he lives with his dad and his grandmother. That's like established canon. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But like, I know he even had a spin-off show at some point. Does she come back in there, or
No,
I just don't know?
We don't talk about
We're-
Planet Sheen.
No, everybody,
Not yet, anyway.
everybody, please don't listen or subscribe or do anything to this channel because we don't want to talk about Planet Sheen.
Yeah, at 100
And we-
subscribers, we are going to do a full watch series of Planet Sheen. So please, for the love of God, do not subscribe.
Does that mean are you going to do it all in one sitting? Because that
Yeah.
I think that's what that event demands.
Yes,
Yes.
that's our plan. That's our plan. Anyway, yeah, I agree with Hugh. Raisins suck.
I no, Hugh is a child. Raisins are yummy, and he needs to grow up. Okay, he needs to grow up.
Hey, we have a third brother now. Well, he's back or whatever. Reno.
Yeah, Reno, what's your take
what-
on Hugh deciding? Yeah, you know what? Me and the wife are gonna go to the grocery store and eat the grapes out of the gutter.
Okay,
I mean,
what do you like raisins?
so raisins are fine. I don't like them in things, but like on their own as a snack, yeah, sure.
I
I'll eat a
concur.
handful of raisins.
I agree.
But like oatmeal raisin cookies are a travesty.
Okay, so
So
it's an equal fight. There's no winner here today.
That's fine.
an important thing, like I know all of us have worked at a grocery store at some point.
Uh-huh.
So this is theft, right? What he's talking about, going to eat the grapes out of the gutter that have fallen off of the bunches. This is shrink,
That's
objectively.
According to the law, yes. But I would argue that he was based for doing so because he recognizes that the fruit lobby is so truly evil that he will only eat it like from the trash.
Well,
essentially.
I didn't
okay,
say it wasn't
okay.
justified.
okay. Okay, but think about it this way, guys. This is how him and Judy get their thrills. They're breaking the law. They're
Oh yeah, okay.
It was
Things
established
are
in the
getting-
previous episode that Hugh breaks the law regularly. He drove right through a stop sign, didn't care.
exactly. Well, okay, if you've seen The Police Officers, which I know we all have, I don't think anybody cares about the law anyways. So
Retroville, it will discover this as we go along more and more. Retroville is a lawless wasteland.
It's Texas. I don't think Reno knew that piece of lore.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Neutron is set in Texas.
Is it canonically Texas?
It is, because when they leave the state to go to a different place and they show the map, it's in Texas.
Fascinating. I
Yeah.
mean, that does make sense.
Yeah. No, we've heavily because we
Yeah, you
analyze these things constantly every week, and so we know stuff.
You really put this thing under a microscope.
Yeah, exactly. Very scientific, if
Yes.
you could say.
Speaking of science,
Yes.
so I have another thing in my notes here. When Jimmy is trying to tell Carl like how to deal with his nightmares, he tells him to use non-Euclidean geometry to disprove or to like prove that the nightmare isn't real. Non-Euclidean geometry is literally stuff from like H.P. Lovecraft stories, like the music of Arid Zan and the witch's house and all that stuff. Like that is literally the stuff of nightmares.
Well, okay, I mean, this episode actually is the stuff of nightmares. There's so much.
It's horrifying.
There's so much crap in here that like Carl's messed up, man. He actually needs help.
There's some real
Counterpoint, I've
deep
yet to
diving
meet
into
an
this
11-year-old that isn't messed up.
Counterpoint. Counterpoint. Something has to happen in their home life to mess them up.
Or your environment in general, not
Exactly.
necessarily your home life. But I would say constantly being used as a guinea pig by a mad scientist child is probably going to generate some trauma.
Yeah, I want to
You guys are complaining too much. He paid him in porridge.
that was not porridge.
I think that was cream of wheat.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, Carl, you're clearly tired. Eat this thing that makes you super lethargic.
Eat this super heavy, hot carbohydrate.
Oh man. Okay, again, so we've seen a lot of the food that Jimmy's house has. Why do they have so many lima beans? Like,
It must have been on sale.
I understand it's to set up the twist ending, which, if you could call it a twist, but like, why so many freaking lima beans?
Yeah, I think Zito hit it right on the head there. I think Judy is just a very frugal lady.
Yeah.
Plus, like,
She's on sale on lima beans.
Yeah, we've seen all the dinners that they've had. They've had thus far a bundle of baby carrots, like piled up to the nines on the plate, a singular can each of cranberry sauce. This is not out of line at all.
Okay.
That's like dinner at my house.
Okay. Hey, your mom makes great food. Your family makes great food.
I'm talking about my house as an adult now on my own. I just ate four Armor lunch makers for dinner.
Oh my god.
They were 10 for 10. I'm not going to turn down savings like that.
just like Judy Neutron. Very good.
Exactly.
Very good.
I'm in the headspace.
Exactly. So as you know, they figure out what's going on. Jimmy's like, hey, let's make a machine that can go into Carl's dreams and we can figure it out. So Jimmy makes the machine, in record time flat.
I do have a note on this.
Okay.
I made specific note of this. He doesn't make the machine to solve this problem. He already has it.
Oh.
The way he specifies.
What was he using it for?
That's what I'm saying. He just happens to have a machine that lets him go into people's dreams to address this problem that is just now cropping up.
Oh my gosh.
Christopher Nolan was looking over his shoulder and like, oh, get these notes.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is
I remember watching it and I was like, no, I rewound it a couple times to be sure because I wanted to make sure that he did not build this specifically for this. He already had it.
Dang.
He did.
Dang.
And once again, I'm just something about this show that has just been blowing my mind rewatching it is how much the invention should be so much of a bigger deal.
It's true.
Okay.
The problem that they're facing, we'll get into it with the next episode.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
one example in particular, but it's super funny to me.
Okay. So there's this theory that Retroville is just a testing site for nuclear experiments, which is why all of the people look so weird and like why they have a limited supply of food and like all the buildings look the same. It's
And
crazy.
It's like vaguely 50s themed. Yeah.
Exactly. What if the government is actually just giving these to them, and they like experimented on Jimmy's brain, and they're like, yes, let's make him think he makes these things, but we're just like putting him in there.
Or he's some sort of like Soviet spy
Oh my gosh.
infiltrating the government's testing ground.
Yeah.
He's a rogue agent.
Oh man. Yeah, very good.
No, I'm down with these.
Yeah.
We haven't really quoted the episode too much thus far, but there was one particular line that Carl said that made me extremely happy, and it's so Carl falls asleep in the cream of wheat, and Jimmy's like, he clearly needs more food, and then Carl gets up and he's like, I'm not hungry, Jimmy.
I'm tired.
And just like the true exasperation of just like, you need to understand, Jimmy.
a 45-year-old man who's been working the same job since he was 18 years old.
Oh, I love it. But yeah, so as the plot goes on, they're like, okay, we'll just go into his dream, find the thing that's keeping him awake, and kill it. Any comments on the events leading up to that?
No, it's I mean, I love the ritual Carl has to go to bed. He has to,
Of course.
he has to, I forgot the first one, but he has to have
Lights are off. He gets
lights
warm
are off,
milk.
warm milk, and then nani.
Yeah, okay, that's my note. Goddard just has milk in him for reasons.
I imagine that Jimmy was just like, I don't want to freaking like add a milk dispenser because then I'd have to refill it all. I'll just
But
give
it's a
him
glass
a gland.
of milk.
That,
It's
yeah.
a glass of milk.
I don't want to talk about glands or glands in Goddard. Let's move on.
All I'm saying is Goddard might not be a robot. He might be a cyborg.
Oh gosh, no, don't. Oh man, don't. No.
I think Infinity Cube's like bag of holding level stuff is canon to Jimmy Neutron.
It is.
So
it
I
is.
imagine Jimmy just put one of those in Goddard.
No, he has a machine that he can hold tons of stuff in it. It just shrinks down into it. It's
like generates a pocket dimension or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
a
he probably just put one of those in Goddard.
Yeah.
Again,
exactly.
one of the countless inventions that would revolutionize the world that this show is just like, meh.
Well, okay. This is a quote from the second episode, but Cindy, like, she's obviously jealous and stuff, but she calls his inventions like silly and not useful. So like, I kind of think that the world doesn't really like his stuff.
He made a portal that lets you enter people's dreams.
They're not ready. They're not ready for it yet, okay,
There's
Rino?
a whole, like, big blockbuster, very famous movie about that very thing.
True.
Well, here's the thing: is that like, it's how he applies the things. Because everyone's like, oh, you made a thing that goes into people's dreams, and you brought back a lima bean. That sucks. That's lame. Anyone that wasn't Jimmy would have seen this thing and been like, oh, the possibilities are endless. But Jimmy. Okay. Anyway,
when we get to the lima bean, I have notes on that as well. So let's press on.
Hey, spoilers, man.
I mean, the lima bean foreshadowing has already been cast.
You're right. I actually did say that myself. Anyway,
we mentioned the case as well.
I'll let you guys talk about the dream because I actually don't have almost any notes about the dream itself.
Well, I just think it's funny that like, okay, first of all the kids except for Cindy, Libby, and Miss Fowl and Jimmy and Sheen are all like the same. They look like
NPCs.
Yeah, they're just in the back.
They're NPCs. They all make the exact same faces. They all do the exact same things, and I just like the dream logic is just it's hilarious.
I have several notes on the dreams actually.
Oh, excellent.
So first of all, Libby arrives late in class, because her paddle broke, so she had to row her desk to school using a plastic leg.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Her paddle broke.
Where did she get the leg? It is like an like it looks like a prosthetic. She plucked this leg off of some passerby.
Well, you know, she got stranded, right? Because her paddle broke. So she really just had to grab whatever was nearby.
She crippled a nearby human being.
Well, yeah, her paddle broke. Come on, what doesn't make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you got me there. Another one I have is so there's a gag where they ask Carl some kind of math question and it's all made up nonsense, including his answer.
Yeah.
Much to Jimmy's chagrin, because he is a being confined by logic and reason. But to me, Carl's technobabble is basically indistinguishable from Jimmy's.
Yeah, no, it is.
That's true, because now that we're older, we know at least some science.
Except that it does not contain any actual numbers or scientific principles.
Yeah. Well, like you said with the Euclidean geometry, it's like that's not actual math, Jimmy. That's
that's like nightmare fuel. It is actual math.
I can imagine Jimmy like using the most basic form of non-Euclidean geometry, like walking into something small and the inside is bigger, and being like, "Oh, this is a dream." Not necessarily the nightmare fuel, but you know.
But he himself is constantly playing with stuff like this: time travel, pocket dimensions. Like,
Oh, you know, that's
He-
okay. You have a point.
I mean,
He
it would have to be
inverts
something.
reality on a regular basis.
I mean, Goddard is a very advanced AI.
It's
It
true.
contains milk.
For
Why does the
ingredients.
Why does the dog have milk? I need to know.
It's all.
Add it to the list of things that we're still figuring out.
Maybe one day we'll know. Maybe one day.
I know it's not the first time he spontaneously produces anything, but the fact that it was just a glass of milk, I don't know, as a grown man, that really threw me.
Milk was a bad choice.
Yeah, milk, exactly.
I like that Sheen is the principal, and the contract that Jimmy apparently signed is actually pretty thorough and like pretty well written. Yeah, it's
The legalese is not too thick, but I think it covers everything.
no, it does. It really does. It just like it's not like a joke contract like that because they didn't show it for very long. But like if you pause and read it, it's actually like a legit contract. Obviously dream logic and monkey boy and whatnot, but like it's an actual contract.
Yeah, it has like actual legalese in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that, like, to me, that's what most real legal documents are like. Is like you get to be their monkey boy, and there's nothing you can do because you signed.
Well, isn't that like just jobs and
Every job, yeah.
Yeah.
This is all a metaphor. Carl only dreams in metaphor.
yep.
I did have one more note. So, the Carl is demonstrating some sort of science machine of unspecified design to the
Uh-huh.
class. Why does the machine not function properly when everything else in his dream works like he would imagine it to?
Because he hates Jimmy, and he wants to give him pain.
Okay, so the machine's I like this answer. The machine's design is literally to physically harm Jimmy when he puts him in it.
Because
But
it-
does it only harm Jimmy?
I think so. It is agreed that it needs a dumb test subject. So everybody points and looks at Jimmy. I'm very positive that it is just meant to hurt Jimmy.
Yeah, I accept this answer. I like this.
See, I think that honestly, I don't think Carl intended it to just electrocute him. I actually think that he intended it to do something else. But because Jimmy's experiments always fail, it makes sense that in his dream, if he was Jimmy, the experiment would also fail.
Okay, yeah, it's a self-defeating thing. Yeah, that makes sense. I like that
It was probably
too.
meant to make him smarter or something, but instead it just hurt him very painfully.
Hmm.
But he also,
Intelligence is very painful in my experience.
That's
like Jimmy, he wouldn't admit that he was wrong.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, that does sound right. Yeah,
So
I
Jimmy
like this.
Jimmy touches Carl and everybody freaks out. They make him go to the ultra principal, which is Sheen. And then he's like, you were sentenced to be his monkey boy. And then Jimmy shows up in front of
In an alley?
in an alley for some reason. And Carl is there being fed gutter grapes.
This is like explaining a real dream, honestly.
yeah.
I think the writers should be commended in that it does
Yes.
really feel like
What if
telling someone about a dream you had.
What if this is the actual writers? Like this is one of their dreams. Like they're actually afraid of lima beans, and they're just like, yeah,
wouldn't mind that.
could be a Jimmy Neutron episode.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Carl is on a throne being fed gutter grapes by Jimmy's parents, who Carl says no, they're my parents.
Like I
Further
said,
cementing problems in Carl's home life that need to be examined.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
he wants to be Jimmy. He wants his parents, but he's also attracted to one of the parents. So
Yeah, that
got
have
some
we gotten
Freudian
into that
stuff
at any
going on.
point yet? Because
No,
that's
because it hasn't really come up yet. It doesn't come up
Yeah.
till the
it starts coming up later, I think.
It doesn't really come up officially till the episode of the Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah.
yeah, for those not in the know, it is commonly known throughout the series and explored upon in some episodes that Jimmy's
That's
friend
great
Carl
audio.
is in love with Jimmy's mom.
Yeah, but we'll get there. We'll get there one.
Yeah,
We'll get there.
We'll
We'll
talk
get there.
about that one day.
We're yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
so
talk
they're
about
in
the
the
lima
alley.
bean. Let's talk about the lima bean. Let's just get to it.
No,
Take
wait,
a
wait.
look at
I have one note in between that, and I think it's worth mentioning.
Okay, what do you got?
So Jimmy, frustrated that he can't explain anything to Carl, is just like, "Oh, I should use dream logic." And then a llama leans into the camera, looks at Jimmy, and says, "Worth a shot." Smiles, winks, and then walks away.
Literal Deus Ex Machina.
I love it. I think that's the highlight of the episode for me. Is that
The talking llama. That, by the way, is clearly not voiced by any of the other characters. Like, it's a totally different person's voice, I think.
I can't imagine who would voice the llama. It must have been like a writer or something.
That's what I want to believe that it is one of the writers.
Who wouldn't want to voice a llama? Come on. In your
True.
resume, you could say llama 1.
I mean, $20 is $20.
Yep.
All
Okay.
right, let's get to the lima bean,
We're
boys.
talking about the lima bean. Okay, so the lima bean is actually really terrifying. This giant green lima bean that has huge teeth and is running after you. That's actually terrifying.
So when they unearth it, he's playing a harmonica for some reason.
Yeah.
Because he's in gay baby jail.
Like, I don't understand what the joke is supposed to be there. Like, why is him playing a harmonica?
Yeah, whatever. And then he eats it.
And then he eats the harmonica and gets big and scary.
Yep. Yeah. And
He
then
was sentenced to prison underneath Carl's bed. And by
this-
lifting the mattress, he
broke the
freed
seal.
him. Yeah, he broke the seal.
He broke the 7th seal.
Yeah. He has opened Pandora's box. He has
Exactly.
unleashed want upon the world.
And the world is found wanting.
Indeed.
And so Jimmy figures it out, but he's like, well, you know what? Like, what would I never do? What would convince Carl this is a dream? So he decides to kiss.
Well, no,
Cindy.
he doesn't even decide. Yeah, I need to wake him up. He decides this is not worth it. I need to bail.
I need an exit strategy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So anyway,
to be
carry
fair,
on.
he is worried about dying at this point because we have
It's- yeah.
established that if you die in the dream, you die in real life.
Exactly. If you die in the game, you die in real life.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so he's like, Sheen, wake him up, wake him up, wake him up, and Sheen is just falling asleep because nani is the best way to put somebody to sleep. And then
Have you fallen asleep with somebody rubbing your stomach and chanting to you? Because it is magical.
yes, I have. Zino does it at least once a week.
Excellent. Brotherly
His
love.
tummy is hairy.
You're supposed to wear a glove. What are you, new?
Oh, I'm so dumb. Why didn't I think of that?
No gloves. And so Jimmy kisses Cindy, and Carl's like, "Geez, that would never happen." And then he wakes up, and they're free. But then, the lima bean follows them out of the dream.
And this is a real sticking point for me.
Why?
This machine, Jimmy has effectively created a machine that allows him to make matter out of nothing.
Yeah.
The
My
thing
gosh,
has,
you're right.
has left Carl's dream. So something that was not there. It was at most electrochemical like signals in Carl's brain
Mhm.
that Jimmy has found a way to make manifest into physical matter in 3-dimensional space. He has essentially created magic.
Yeah.
And the show just kind of glosses over it. It's like not important. The important thing is the lima bean. Not
Yep.
that you can just strap this thing to someone's head, have them think of like
$1 million.
Just a bajillion dollars
yeah.
or a vault full of gold, and then just go in there and take the gold out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's infinite resources. You can just dream of like a lithium.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a Star Trek replicator.
Well,
or
okay.
Oh my
something.
gosh, you're right. It is a
No,
replicator.
Okay, think about it. The lima bean essentially, like, yes, we can tell that they eat it later, but the lima bean was not a real creature. It's not a real being until Carl dreamed it. What if
Yeah, so
like
it's even better than a replicator because
So this is what I'm saying. It's literal magic. He has found a way to make thoughts manifest matter.
guys, what if this is where Pultra came from?
think someone else dreamed it up.
Yeah, I think Pultra from the Jimmy Neutron movie, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, the movie. I think the Yugubians universally dreamed up Pultra, and then they brought it through this portal.
That would make sense. It's sort of a idolatry kind of thing.
Yeah.
They make their
what
own
would eggs
false
even
god,
dream of? Obviously a chicken.
Yeah.
a warm creature to be rested upon by their rump.
Exactly. So that they too can feel the joy and the love of Nani Nani Nani.
This is another tangent, but like, so the Yugubians are egg people.
Yeah.
In conceit. Does that mean they hatch? And if so, what do they hatch into?
That's a good question. I think we should talk about that in another episode when they come back.
Different time. Different time.
Yes, they do come back in this season.
Yeah, there's revenge. Yeah, they do come back. We'll talk about it then. But, well, I just want to finish this part of the episode with a quote where Jimmy, it goes, the lima bean chases them. They all scream and run away. And then we cut to them cutting up and eating the lima bean. And Jimmy says, luckily, all bean farmers know
dirt and exposure to air is very bad for lima beans.
Yeah, but then Carl says, but you hit it with a hammer.
I think it's one of the best just like outright jokes in this show.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
But Jimmy, you murdered it in cold blood.
Yeah, you beat it to death with a blunt instrument.
Jimmy, you created this being and then you killed it instantly.
This is the equivalent of Dr. Frankenstein creating the monster and then going, ugh, just blasting it with a 12 gauge.
Like like I saw this thing that was like a haiku over a picture of Godzilla. And it was like, with artillery, you greet your nuclear child. Am I the monster?
Oh man, new podcast all about Godzilla and kaiju.
Oh, dude, sign me up. I am a huge fan.
Yeah. I'm actually making a like kind of multimedia podcast network, so that's where we will talk about that stuff.
If there's a Godzilla one, I
know just the man who would be willing to join that. But any final thoughts on this wonderful episode?
Brain blast fun fact of the day. This is the episode where we learn Carl's last name.
Okay.
When did they say it?
I don't remember, but on the trivia on the website, that's what it says.
Carl's last name is Weezer.
Yes, it is.
Everyone in this show and probably watching it already knows that.
Yeah, but like that's the point of the Brain Blast fun fact. We learn things. Because if we watch,
I guess I didn't know that. I did not know that.
No, I didn't know this was the first episode that they mentioned it. I was just saying everyone knows Carl's last name is Weezer.
Yeah, I know. But this is why we watch Jimmy Neutron, so we can get smarter.
Yeah.
I will. The last thought I have is that I like the running gag of them going, if this were a dream, could I do this? And then they rip their brain out and show them. And I love the idea of someone saying, if this were a dream, could I do this? And then they just die.
That would be
even their own skull.
Oh man, that'd be terrifying. Yeah, that'd be scary.
Yeah. Any last thoughts right now?
I'm ready to.
I think that's it for this episode. Let's move on to the Oozy Scab.
Episode 5.
This is the one I have a lot of feelings about.
That's what we're hoping for. This is the episode 5.2, Raise the Oozy Scab, also known as Dressub Shots. I don't know what that means.
Probably something about water or ships.
Yeah.
Or scabs?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. The plot of the episode is...
Well, you two, it would seem you're the only ones left without partners. Let the record show that Jimmy and Cindy will work on their oceanography project together.
because everyone else has chosen another science partner, Jimmy is forced to team up with Cindy and do a science project about the ocean. So Jimmy, being a massive overachiever and wanting to exclude his partner, decides to go find the pirate ship, the Oozy Scab, and bring back a freaking treasure chest full of riches to school her and also become rich at the same time. They join anyway. Hilarity.
Yes. Ensues.
Yes, it does.
And mutiny.
Okay, I have
Exactly.
an opening gambit right here.
Opening
okay?
statement.
I'm gonna
Go.
break it down for everybody here. So this episode starts with Miss Fowl talking about humpback whales
Yes.
and the sound that they make. This is followed by Carl making a horrifying screaming sound. Miss Fowl is like, "Oh, good job, Carl. That's what it sounds like." And Carl says, "No, Butch just gave me a wedgie." And they just gloss over this immediately. This teacher has a student, like, say he's being bullied. The bully is sitting behind him, nodding emphatically, and she's just like, anyway, moving on. All I'm trying to say is public school sucks.
It does. It does.
It's true. That's what middle school is like.
I love how you just. That was elementary school though. They're in elementary school.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right.
well,
Like late elementary school.
I love how you
Or
go.
6th grade, yeah.
I like how you just go through this whole thing and then you're like, and that's why public school sucks. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I only wrote down a quote for that entire opening scene, and it's just Miss Fowl going, "Very good, Carl," with like a little smiley face that I typed in.
I did have another one in that, so they go through the whole thing of them trying to pick partners, and Jimmy realizes both Carl and Sheen have already been partnered up with somebody else. My note here is just once again Jimmy's abuse of his friends reaps terrible rewards.
It is his fault. Sheen is like, "Bro, I'm still irradiated, man."
Yeah, and Carl says I can't go near power stations anymore or something like that.
Yeah.
Power plants.
I don't know what that means, but I'm concerned.
Presumably he's exuding some sort of electromagnetic signal.
Oh man. Yeah.
I love that when Cindy's like, "Libby, you already got a partner?" And she's like, "Yeah, Brittany's letting me borrow this CD or keep this CD if I do all the work." I just wrote, "Bro, it's a CD. You're 11. Rip it and give it back. It's fine."
Oh, for real. If this was in the aughts, I had a computer at my house that could do that. by
Yeah.
this point.
Okay. Well, we needed a reason for Jimmy and Cindy to go on an adventure together. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I guess so. And plus, it is canonical that, or it's shown in the movie that Libby has not an MP3 player, but a CD Walkman.
Yeah,
Exactly.
she's got a Sony Sony Discman, doesn't she?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess she could just burn it to a new disc, but I guess the
That's
show
what
doesn't
I'm
want
saying.
to.
That's what I did. I had a Discman in the aughts, and I had a computer that I could put in CDs and burn the songs off of and put on a blank one.
Yeah, Libby's a noob, dude. Like, you really like music, but you don't know how to freaking burn a CD? Come on.
I didn't even care that much about it, and I was making my own mixtapes with that thing.
Yeah, drop that beat, Reno.
Yeah, what do you think of the opening, Mr. Dino?
Yes.
I liked the opening. It was good establishment. I don't have much to say about it. My first note though is all about the submarine. Where, like, okay, most of Jimmy's inventions, okay, they all usually like look like a kid built them in some way. His rocket had a bike tire. Other examples, but this submarine looks so high tech. Where did he get the supplies for it? Like,
I have thoughts on this. So, the submarine, when they first show it, is in their garage.
yeah.
There's no car in the garage. So I think Jimmy turned their family car into a submarine.
Yeah.
My personal theory is that every like invention that Jimmy makes, for the most part, is kind of slapdash. Like, he makes it in like an afternoon. and that's
Yeah.
why they look kind of crappy.
Uh-huh.
This is an example of a project that if Jimmy is given the time, he will make something that not only works good but looks good too.
That's true. That's true. I mean, because like aside from like his hovercraft looks pretty bad. Like it has a coffee container as like part of the steering wheel, so that makes sense. But like he was probably planning this thing for a while. He's probably wanted to do an undersea voyage for some time.
Yeah, and then they just started studying the ocean in class, and he was like, "All right, jackpot."
Oh, it's time. Miss Val's gonna give us an assignment. I got this.
All of my invested time's gonna pay off tonight, boys. Well, although I do question the addition of the brig.
Yeah.
Yeah, why did he put a cell of iron bars in his submarine?
With one wooden chair, and I was like, but like, so I watched this episode twice, and I looked at, for the first time I wasn't really watching, I was just kind of listening, and then the second time I watched it, right as they're going down, you can see it, and I'm like, why? Like, what was it?
No one questions it. They're like, oh yeah, that's just where you go to jail.
Yeah. I mean,
Pretty sure that's not even how naval vessels use a brig. Like,
I'm actually pretty positive Jimmy probably added it so that he could put Cindy in there.
yeah, I feel like he made the submarine, and then he got stuck with Cindy and his partner, and so he was like, okay, I have to put a cage in here.
Yeah, that's what he was working on in the garage that time. He wasn't building it. He was just adding the brig.
Yeah, again, submarine was done. He had that just on lockdown, ready for when they needed to go to the ocean.
Yeah.
Had to add the iron cell, like the steel cage.
Exactly. I love the so as they get into the ocean, Cindy's like, hey guys, let's use maps and real science, like let's do this. And like, Cindy, that's a great job. Jimmy's like, yeah, screw that, look at this, we can talk to fish
with this epic boombox circa 1990.
Again, a very interesting and important invention, something that allows you to communicate with a different species, would be insanely groundbreaking in the field of science. Not, we're just going to use it to find a treasure chest.
And only ask them this one specific thing.
Fish don't live very long. Jimmy, they probably don't know where it is.
Stuff at the bottom of the ocean like that stuff lives for a really long time because they're basically sedentary.
Uh-huh.
Because they have to wait for food to wander by them. There's sharks that live down there that live for like hundreds of years.
Okay, I guess that could be true.
So what I'm saying is there's way more information to glean from these fish.
But I really want to know the story of the fish that found her husband cheating on her.
What does it matter? Fish don't breed like we do. They just drop the eggs and leave.
That doesn't mean they don't, ascribe or whatever the word I'm looking for is. They don't add meaning to the act.
Yeah, Zino. You wouldn't understand.
Right. Sorry.
Just because it doesn't
consider of the brings of fish.
Just because it doesn't involve direct intercourse doesn't mean they don't have to feel good about it and have an emotional bond to their partner.
Zeno, you wouldn't understand love.
Yeah, you're right. I'll go. Cut this out. Cut this out.
I can't wait for the final cut for that to just be one long.
Yeah. No, it's
gonna sound like somebody flatlining.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. Anyway, I want to talk to fish though. I love how Carl is just like, I want to talk to fish.
Yeah, he's like, everyone's like, what idiot would want to talk to fish? He's like, yeah!
Yeah, this is Carl's
my response to it. I want to talk to fish.
Exactly. And I just love how Carl he's like, hey, I have this thing that is that has to do with fish. I'm going to share it with them. Burning oil and frying you. I'm like, oh, Carl, that's not.
Yeah, the moment he's given the opportunity to talk to fish or just ask them something, he asks if they know that they're delicious. Of course fish know they're delicious. Why the flip would they be chased constantly if they weren't?
Okay, but
scene is seriously like something out of Starship Troopers or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like, this is how humanity reacts to their first contact with another sapient species.
It's
like,
afraid! They all cheer.
exactly
Okay.
that. Exactly that.
Okay, but like later on in the episode, Carl admits he would eat Sheen. At least a bite. So maybe Carl's logic is, oh hey, maybe the fish understand. They taste good to each other. They want to try eating each other.
They get it. I get
Or
it.
he just wants to, give that long pork a little nibble. Just give it a try. Taste the forbidden fruit.
Oh gosh.
I did
So-
have a note for this one.
Oh,
So there's a joke about Carl not understanding what the radar is,
Yeah, yeah.
and Jimmy explains that it's radar to him, and Carl says, "Oh, my mom doesn't let me use radar or be near radar," and I don't think he's making this up.
No,
well, I thought it had to have been like a TV channel joke or something. Like, I feel like the joke went over my head.
No, based on what we see from Carl's upbringing in later episodes, I do actually fully believe that his parents have expressly forbade him the use of radar.
I think no, I legit think this is something that actually happens. Is yes, something probably happened to either his mother or father that caused something with radar to go bad, and now Carl is not allowed to be around radar.
Or they're shown to be very helicopter parenty.
Uh-huh.
So they're just like, radar, don't know what that is, can't go near it.
Bad. Radar bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just that was like a really throwaway joke in the episode, but
Uh-huh.
I also thought it was very funny.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that maybe it was like a reference to like a TV channel called Radar, because there's like TV Land. What if there was
Yeah.
just like a TV channel called Radar, and it's like,
Or it could be like a rated R movie joke or something like that.
it's a bit of a stretch, but I wouldn't discount it, honestly,
I
given
mean,
given his upbringing.
I mean,
Yeah.
Carl's parents are allergic to bananas, so nothing's out of the picture here.
Hey, yeah, listen, I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to bananas. Don't fight me.
So they get lost, right?
Yeah,
They've been searching the ocean for like 2 days.
So it takes. So I looked it up. I did some calculating, and by that I mean I Googled it. Just to fly from Texas to Japan takes 13 plus hours. Okay.
Yes.
How long would
Yeah.
it take to go there by sea?
Because here's the thing, the only port in Texas is through the Gulf of Mexico, right?
Exactly.
But that's- You would have to either go all the way around Brazil or just go all the way around the other way of the Earth to get to
Yeah,
Japan.
you'd go past the Horn of Africa and Southeast Asia and India and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you get there in 1 day?
It says they say 2 days, don't they?
They said
They only have food for 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I don't know. I think Jimmy is just. I feel like he is being hyperbolic when he says anybody familiar with the Sea of Japan.
Maybe.
Maybe
Like-
the binoculars just see really far.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have some sort of longitudinal thing on them. I don't know.
I see London. I see France. Wow, you have really good eyes.
Yeah. I did have another one there. So the reason that they're lost is because Jimmy used a microwave oven to make navigational equipment.
And there's a pie in it.
He left food in it. So clearly the microwave is maintaining its original function.
For that many
But
hours. That's impressive.
He was also trying to use it as navigational equipment.
Well, here's the thing. It's an obvious case of whoops, I grabbed the wrong one on the way out the door. Because he probably built this thing out of a microwave and then sat it down next to his actual microwave.
Just
And
Why
then
would
just
you
took the
keep
actual
it-
microwave.
Why would you keep it next to the real
Guys,
microwave?
guys,
You had to bring it upstairs.
Guys-
You're bringing stuff up. You only got 2 hands.
I think we're forgetting the real issue here.
What's the
What
real
is
issue?
Somewhere in the world, Hugh Neutron does not have his pie.
Oh yeah, I'm assuming Jimmy was grounded after this adventure.
He doesn't get grounded for anything else, but he messes with the pie and it's
Again, for later episodes that I have watched, I have some serious notes about Hugh's parenting.
Yeah, no, there's plenty to talk about with his parenting. But
But yeah, they eventually mutiny. Throw
Yep,
Jimmy
they're
in the
stranded
brig.
in the ocean. They discuss eating one another, like almost immediately. Instead, so they talk about eating each other before they talk about like finding some way to just get fish to eat from the bountiful ocean that is surrounding them on all sides.
Or, I don't know, just go home. They always have the
just
fuel to go home.
Yeah, that's the other thing. What is powering this thing?
Jimmy's mind.
Yeah, a fusion. I feel like Jimmy has some sort of fusion power that he's just hoarding.
No, he does.
Oh, without doubt.
He has plutonium. We know this for a fact.
Okay. Because he's a Soviet sleeper agent. Yep, got it.
It's canon now. It's canon now in our Jimmy Neutron. So,
I do like that the threat of starvation is a legitimate plot point, because I don't feel like the mortality of children is brought up in a lot of these shows. Like, I know like magic is a big part of Fairly Odd Parents, but he's never really like afraid to die of like realistic things.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
These kids are like, okay, we have to figure out what we're going to eat or we're going to die.
Yes, and they didn't have to do that, but I don't know. There's just something about writing that in that makes me smile.
Yeah. So they eventually they form the mutiny, tie Jimmy up, put him in the brig,
the newly constructed brig.
Hoisted
brig.
by his own petard.
Exactly. And then they actually do find the ship through Cindy's way, which is pretty cool. And they get there, and then a giant octopus or squid. Yeah, giant squid because it has the beak. Right?
Octopuses also have beaks, but it is a squid, yeah.
Okay, well, the giant squid attacks them and is like, I'm gonna crush you and eat your guts. So, I'm just gonna say, the way that they figure this out to talk to the squid is Jimmy takes the fried octopus and puts it on the microchip. Puts it in, they can talk to it.
It's not even in. He takes a fish snack and sets it on the computer chip, and that makes it work.
That's not how microchips work, Jimmy.
He just puts a goldfish cracker on a CPU.
Guys, no, it's the smell sensor. It smelled the squid and it's like, okay, transfer the smell nodes to the voice synthesizer.
It's literally the most unscientific thing I've ever seen. You know, they just put a chip on a computer chip and it just works. It's just how science works.
Well, okay, I mean,
I love
whatever. guys, I have a really, really interesting brain blast fun fact. This is, in this episode, none of Jimmy's inventions malfunction.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
everything works
according to
as
plan.
intended.
Exactly.
Score 1 for Jimmy. That might be the only episode where that's the case.
I think so. Yeah.
So when Jimmy's in the brig, they're like, Jimmy, do something. We need to talk to the squid, and your voice thing isn't working. He's like, well, first you gotta tell me that I'm epic and fucking cool. And
that's my note as well. Jimmy uses life-threatening danger as an opportunity to gloat.
Yeah, I just typed, Jimmy, you smug bastard. Why do you have to torture Cindy to save your friends? This is why nobody likes you.
No, this is how his hubris almost gets them killed countless times.
Seriously. I mean, it is in keeping with his character, at least, but it is a very funny example. They are literally about to be cracked open like a coconut and slurped out of this thing by a giant squid, and he's like, tell me I'm awesome and that you suck.
No, Jimmy is an egotistical, narcissistic bastard. It's
a real egomaniac.
This is like I talked about this in like I think the second episode or something. I'm like, but Jimmy kind of sucks. Like, yes, he has lots of room to grow, but like if you think about it, he would rather be told, Jimmy, you're epic and awesome and much better than me, than die.
He's that gifted child that lets it go to his head.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is why I find the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour things to be really interesting, because Jimmy and Timmy are both objectively terrible people. They're kids, but like they suck. They do so many terrible things to the people around them. But they're the protagonists, so we root for them because we're kids.
Yeah.
Did you know that they actually made Timmy like the worst protagonist of any show ever with a recent episode?
Evidently, yeah, I know, like, the fact that he's a terrible person is kind of canonical at this point.
Yeah.
Oh no, it gets worse.
Wait,
Every
stop,
like
stop. We don't need to talk about it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's worth it. I think it's actually worth like mentioning.
Okay. If you think so.
It's canon to the Fairly Odd Parents that every like 2 years or so, Timmy wishes for everyone in the entire universe's minds to be reset back 2 years and to make himself 2 years younger than everyone else.
I do actually remember hearing about this. Yeah,
Wait,
he like resets it every once in a while so that he doesn't lose.
So
Cosmo and Wanda.
Timmy is actually a 45-year-old man.
Wait, seriously?
That is actually real.
Yeah.
Because like
I never
Jimmy's
saw
a
the
bad
episode.
kid, but he's not. I'm going to reset time constantly so that I, a 45-year-old man, can continue living out being a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like he's like Dormammu or something. That's like a Marvel supervillain.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Jimmy just likes to put his friends in constant harm and basically kill them, irradiate them, and
He experiments on them. He uses
Exactly.
his friends as guinea pigs, as free labor.
yeah. He's
Hey,
like,
he does
friends
something to
need-
himself too. He used
Carl
the
and-
brain drain thing on himself.
yeah. So
Carl and Sheen need to get together and form a union.
okay, the only reason Jimmy used the brain drain on himself was so that he could be equal with them and be idiots like them, like he said. He knew what he was doing. He
But
just
had
wanted-
he tested it, he would have seen that it's the slider for big dumb monkey brain is super loose.
Jimmy is a bad person who uses free labor and says, "Hey, Carl, you can't sleep because I need you to do this thing."
Eat up, pig. We got work to do.
like a
You're
pig,
slop.
like a pig to the slaughter.
But yeah, my only last note is that when they do eventually get to talk to the squid, I love that he's a dapper gentleman.
yeah.
He has like a posh British accent.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
if you just spoken to me, I would never have done this. Silly children.
That's
Oh, you
thing,
want the
why
treasure chest? Un momento, per favor. I
Oh.
will procure this for you.
Oh, that
Why
thing's
didn't you just say so?
that thing is disgusting. Let's give it to you now.
I mean, we know why he gives it to him at the end of the episode,
Yeah.
which is that it's just filled with taffy.
Which,
Yeah.
why? Is the joke because it's salt water?
Yeah, well,
That
okay.
is literally the joke.
Make
Yeah.
any
Okay.
sense.
The taffy, like, it's been in there for what, hundreds of years. That's literally just salt now. Like, water got in there. It's like, that is disgusting.
Yeah, the packaging and the chest is not airtight. That stuff is like algae.
And if
At
it's
this
and if
point.
it's from like what, the 1800s or whatever, that's not going to be good packaging at all.
No, God, no. It doesn't look like it either. It looks
And-
like clear, like
and-
paper wrap.
and
like
Miss Fa-
that they
Miss-
use at
and
pharmacies.
Wax paper.
And Miss Fowl just immediately goes to eat it. This is the best.
She did say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's and Jimmy's just hitting his head on the chest.
Which
Yeah.
honestly, like the whole episode, I wasn't really like thrilled with it, but just seeing Jimmy so like downtrodden that he's smacking his head against the chest, it gets me every
despondent
time.
That
Yeah.
after all that, it was for nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that. I love the visual of him just beating his head against the chest.
Oh,
It's so good.
it is good. It is good.
It's
Okay.
good stuff.
Final thoughts from my brothers.
Yeah, so I really like the dream one. I think the ocean one is a little
Contrived.
it's a little devoid. Yeah, it feels kind of fillery, but it's not like bad.
Yeah.
There's a couple of winner jokes in there.
Yeah.
I like the radar joke. I like that they throw the cannibalism joke
Yeah.
just immediately is super funny.
The dapper squid is really great.
I do like the dapper squid. I do like the fish who is like talking to them like she's at the barber shop or something.
Yeah. I
Chatting with her gal pals.
I really like Carl essentially threatening them and telling them, "We're gonna eat you all."
But yeah, the dream one is the standout one for
Yeah.
me. There's lots of good throwaway jokes in that episode.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
The dream one is, I mean, okay, listen. Hugh Neutron has a permanent parking space in my brain, and just seeing him like really upset that he's coming home And Judy's just like, your father got overexcited and ate a bolt that fell in the gutter. And he's like,
it was grape shaped. Yeah, yeah.
Just like, what kind of grapes are you eating, man?
Oh, well,
Gutter grapes.
gutter grapes.
Yeah.
No, he lives in all of our brains rent free. It's true.
Did Zeno tell you? You guys watched the episode last time with Jimmy's grandma, right?
Yeah.
And so that has the one where they're driving home and there's an eagle sitting on his head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Try wiggling your finger like a worm, and then he does it in front of the camera. So I showed Zeno a video of this yesterday. Like, I spent an inordinate amount of time as a child learning to do that with my finger because of that
so
episode.
good.
I can do that with my finger, like just wiggle it like that. It's only my right index finger that I can do it with.
You'll have to show me how good you
I
can
will
wiggle that
send you-
worm. Wiggle that worm for me, Reno.
That's the button, right? That's the end of the episode.
No. The end of the episode is.
Reno, do you want to do it?
What?
You know how, like, after the credits and stuff, there's that monkey that turns around? What does he say?
He says, Hi, I'm Paul.